Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows.
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 13, titled The Hero Dies in This One. Air date February 8th, 2005, and the synopsis is:
Brooke plans her presidential campaign with Felix. Dan asks Lucas to move in with him while offering Keith to pay for a grand wedding with Jules. Nathan discovers emails between Chris and Haley on their computer, believes her most are from Taylor, and they decide Taylor must leave. Jake is back for good. At Trick, Chris is back, and the Wreckers have asked him along on their tour and invites Haley to join them. So we start off with Brooke having her photos taken for her class, presidential campaign in her room by Felix. And he points out that she's holding one of the books upside down. It's Latin, so she says she probably wouldn't be able to read it if it was right set up anyhow. And then he asks her about her slogan. She says, Brooke Davis for president, sure enough for even the stoners to remember. And then at the dealership.
oh yeah, did you like that comment?
Oh, about the stoners?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. And then at the dealership, Lucas asks Dan if he's going to leave Keith and Jules alone. And Dan says that he's thinking about it. Lucas says Keith's happy for once. He's getting married. Don't screw it up.
And then he's like,
yeah.
This was funny because Dan's like, oh, Keith's getting married? I'm like, yeah. Because I don't think that was in the plan.
Right.
Dan's plan.
Mm-hmm.
But, Dan is loving it because he's like, this is a great plan.
Yeah.
One that he didn't think of. So he's just all on board. And he's just smiling. And I'm like, every time Dan is smiling, it's just like, oh my God. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, so then he tells Lucas he'll leave them alone if he gives him a chance to prove he can be a good father.
All of a sudden, he's going to be a good father.
And Lucas asks how he's going to do that, get a lobotomy, and Dan says no, by moving in
move
with
in
him.
with me. Yeah. I was like, okay, no. I mean, it is funny, Lucas moving in with Dan. Like, the two people you would never think live together would be these two.
Right.
Especially because Dan has wanted him dead since Karen found out she was pregnant. So,
yeah,
there's that.
And then at the apartment, Nathan walks out into the kitchen. He sees a lot of candles lit, and he says to Haley that they need to hide the matches from her pyro sister.
And Haley wasn't even there. So I'm just kind of confused at how Nathan, it's a very small apartment. It's a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
How do you not know that Haley's not there?
I guess she must have left without telling him, which is strange.
But wouldn't you hear the door? And it's a small apartment.
Unless she left when he was sleeping and she was quiet when she left.
I just find it hard to believe that in that small space, you don't know she's gone. And you think it's Taylor that's gone, but it's really Haley. I don't know. I just find it weird, but okay.
Right. And then Taylor walks out of the bathroom and tells them to be grateful it's just candles. When they were kids, she used to set fire to their bunk beds.
Yeah, that was weird. But okay, how did you like that when Nathan? Well, what I thought was weird was that Nathan said that was Taylor's computer laptop.
And when did he say that?
I don't know, because he was talking about how she leaves her laptop open, or she left it on.
Yeah, I think she was just using theirs.
Yeah, but he said it. It sounded like he was kind of saying about her, and I'm like, what? It's your guys's, but okay.
Well, he said that she left the computer on. I think that's what he said.
But, he's gonna find. Okay, so it's not just Haley's computer then, right?
Right. I think they're both
sharing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so he hears the computer make a notification sound.
Yep, and then he sees something
Mm-hmm.
from Chris. And the thing is, he goes down that little rabbit hole. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's like Haley should have just confessed because, I mean, look, there's proof.
Mm-hmm. But what I did notice is that he went to the sent to tab, but they were all messages from Chris, not to Chris. So I don't know if that was just like an error with how they set that up or what, but that was
Are
weird.
you sure?
Yeah. It just said sent to, and then they were all Chris messages from him.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you could tell that they're from him because he said in one of them that he wanted to kiss her in all caps.
But Taylor also put that.
Yeah, I know. Just the way that it was written, you could tell that it was from Chris.
Yeah, but Taylor also wrote that as Haley, that she wanted to kiss him. And then in the inbox, it was also like asking about how's the tour and stuff. So
Yeah, well, I did see something about like the tour being boring or something. They're definitely all from Chris.
well, yeah, that's the only one she talks to. I mean, here's the thing is even if those weren't on there, you're still communicating with them,
Mm-hmm.
which is what you said you would do, which was stop.
Right.
So either way, you're still lying.
Mm-hmm. And then
but then the election.
mm-hmm. Yeah, Mouth is asking questions to Lucas about it, for the paper. I guess
Now, I'm confused about Mouth. I thought he had told Brooke that he did that to her windshield.
No, wasn't that this episode?
It was, but I don't know. I just feel like he's already said it to her.
No,
I thought he already told her.
He told her that he took her home after Trick that one night. It wasn't Felix. That was the only thing he said to her.
I don't know. I just feel like he's already said it. So when he said it, I was like, okay.
No, yeah, he was holding on to it for a while. And then Brooke catches up to Lucas and Mouth as well. And, she's trying to get their vote for her.
Well, you really think they're going to vote for someone else?
Right, yeah, I don't know. That's what she's just doing.
I mean, I know you would. You would be like, I'm not voting for you. But no, they're of course going to vote for her.
Right. Yeah, so she tells Mouth that she'll give him an exclusive for his issue or whatever for the newspaper. And then Nathan comes walking up asking if they've seen Haley. Lucas says he thinks she's tutoring and asks if he's okay, and he says he just has to go.
Oh, but then I love it because Peyton and Jake walk up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, here's the big reveal. Here's Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, they like obsessed over it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it weird that he's back at school?
Because of Nikki? Or
No, I mean he left.
right, yeah.
Don't you think there'd be conversations, but he's sort of just hanging around school? Like, I mean, at our school, people couldn't just be hanging around school if you weren't a student.
Right.
Like you had to be there for a reason. You couldn't just hang around.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you had left the school, you still couldn't just come back and hang around all day.
Right.
But it seems like that's what Jake is doing.
Well, I thought, he went there to go see Whitey to talk to him about
Yeah, but that was like scenes later, I feel like.
I thought it was soon after this.
No, but it seems like he was just hanging around there, and I'm like, don't you have somewhere to be?
Mm-hmm.
So was his parents watching Jenny during the day then?
I guess so, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he says he's staying for good and he needs to find a lawyer so he can keep Nikki away because he's done running.
But isn't the lawyer going to say you ran?
Right.
I mean, sorry, Jake. like, I am on your side, but at the same time, you did run, which isn't going to look good.
Right.
I mean, you know, you should have went through the legal system. I know that they probably would have taken her and given her half to Nikki, but at least you'd still have her, because now lawyering up, it's probably going to be on Nikki's favor.
Right.
Because who knows what she's doing right now to make herself look good. Because she might have a job and stable where he's not.
Right.
I mean, he's crashing at Peyton's house.
I
mean, how is that stable?
Right.
It's not.
So Brooke walks off with Jake, asking if he can still vote there, which should be a no, but
That should be a heck no. I mean, really?
Yeah.
But how did you like it though when Brooke just takes Jake's arm and just starts walking off with him? I'm like,
Right.
she is desperate. Because what's funny too is like Jake hated Brooke.
Yeah, I think he like tolerated her, but yeah, didn't really want to be around her because she was always partying and wanting to hook up. Yeah. But he doesn't know how she is now, how much she's changed. So
I mean, maybe Brooke or maybe Peyton has told her some things. I don't know. Or told him things.
Yeah. And then Lucas checks on Peyton and she says she's good and thanks him for calling Jake. He's a good friend.
You're just a good friend, Luke.
To
everybody.
Yeah.
All of your exes.
Yep. Except
that's what I think he was in this episode.
But one friend of his that wasn't in this episode was Anna. So I wonder where she went.
Yeah, because
they didn't explain.
But did you see that her name was in the guest star list?
No, I didn't notice.
I noticed that and I was like, oh. But then you just point out that she wasn't even in the episode. So it's like, it's kind of weird that they would put her in there, but not show her. Because I feel like, especially guest star, like it's one thing to be a main cast and you're part of the intro song and everything. Because I don't think they're going to take you out for like one episode you're not in and like redo the whole intro. But doing the guest star, they make that guest star every episode. Do you know what I mean? Because different people are in. So it's kind of weird that she was a part of that when she wasn't in the show.
And then Peyton walks up to Haley at her locker. Haley is happy to see her after hearing she was out of town. She wants to hear all the dirt about it, and Peyton says she thinks she's not, not the only one who has dirt.
Yeah. Did you kiss Chris? And what's annoying is that like Haley's like, oh, how do you know and stuff, and it's like, really? I mean, I agreed with Peyton, which was, that's not the, question you should be like, worried about or that's important and stuff, because it's true. The question is, and the only one that's important is why.
Right.
That's it. So I agree with Peyton. But also, like, why is she so like? Because we talked about this like last episode, which is her loyalty should be to Nathan.
Yeah.
Why is she so like, oh, buddy with Haley? And I'm like, you know what she did. I don't get it. But I mean, I did like how she told her that, Haley saw firsthand how things got between, the love triangle. And I did love when she said there were no wedding rings in that scenario. And I'm like, exactly. That's the difference is Haley is married. She chose this life.
Yeah.
You chose to be with Nathan forever. However long you think forever is going to be. It might just be tonight. But it's like, you chose that. This is why you shouldn't have chosen to get married, because, other people could come along.
Right.
I mean, at least, Lucas wasn't married. I mean, it's still not good what they did, but, they were just teenagers being teenagers, I guess you could call it. But here you're married.
Yeah.
Not good. But What did you think, though, when she said to Peyton, he kissed me?
Right, as if it wasn't her fault.
I know. I'm like, but twice?
Right.
It's like the first time it could have been a shock, but again, she never pulled away. It's not like, oh my God, like, why are you touching me?
Yeah.
But then the second time, it's like,
Yeah.
you wanted that.
Yeah, Peyton didn't even know about the first time, just the second time, so.
Well, and you were too close both times with him. Like, you can have a conversation with somebody far away from each other. You don't have to be touching, basically, having a conversation that close, and then obviously that's going to lead to kissing.
Right.
I mean, I don't know why Haley has a different view. I just okay, and I know, like, on the Drama Queens podcast, I remember them talking about how they felt like, oh, like, this is Haley's time to shine and stuff.
Yeah, but not in this way. It shouldn't be. Yeah.
Okay, that's my thing is if you could cut how much she really likes him out of this, and there was no kissing, and it was strictly about music, then 100% I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But because there's been kissing and there has been lying and everything else, and she truly does have a crush on him, that's what makes it different. That's why I don't fully agree with that, because it's not about music. It is also about him.
Right.
She even said they have a connection. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's not strictly music. It's not like she wants to know what's going on with every musician and how their life is. She's only strictly about him.
Right.
And that's why I think there's a difference in this situation. That's why I agree with Nathan when he was like, well, you can do this without him. Like, I'm sure there's other connections you could, have besides Chris Keller.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, yeah. And the fact that you keep messaging him, though, like, it's really annoying. But that's why I don't agree with her. It was okay for her to just, go off. Because it wasn't right.
Right.
Not how she did it.
Yeah, so she keeps lying to herself and everybody else the kiss didn't mean anything, and Payne says a kiss always means something. And then we see Jake go into Whitey's office, like I said before, trying to get, back into school.
Remember how we said, like, in season 1, how we saw, or we knew that Whitey knew about Jake and his situation. Because, he was letting him out of practice and everything else. So, and we always said how we always wanted to see that conversation. Well, here it is. We finally got to see a Whitey and Jake conversation.
Right.
I'm like, we have been waiting all season 1 for this, and now we're halfway through season 2, and we finally get what we've been waiting for, which is the Whitey and Jake conversation. And seriously, Cynthia, I loved it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because Whitey doesn't really have much to do because they're not playing basketball in season 2. So he doesn't really have too much to do. So it was nice to see him with Jake, and also that Jake isn't Nathan and Lucas. He's not the star of the show. He's there. So, so I just love how Whitey is, because he's showing he's there for not just the Scotts, he's there for everyone. But we also finally got to see them together, and it wasn't on the court. It was great. Like, Whitey really cares about each and every one of them.
Yeah, and he, encourages Jake not to, drop out of school just to support himself and Jenny, like, get back into it.
Well, okay. What did you like, though, how'd you like when he said, when Whitey said, So, you've been going to school and stuff. And Jake's like, well, I mean, I haven't been really able to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, legally, isn't he supposed to?
I don't know. I heard this was years ago though, like 2011, when you only have to go until like you're 16 or something. Then after that, you can decide to end schooling. But I don't know. And then this was 2005, so I don't know
Oh,
what it was
yeah,
like back then.
probably.
And in
Then
different
probably.
states than here. So yeah.
Well, and they were in the South, so probably you could drop out.
Yeah, but if anything, he should at least try to get his GED so he can, at least get a good job, later on to support him and Jenny. So
And maybe too, I mean, I don't know, but maybe because he was working, he could get out of school. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
If only he had that program that our school had, where you could work and go to school half the time.
Right.
That would have been a great program for him. He would only have to go half the time and still graduate.
Yeah. And
Because,
then why?
so he's missed all this time, right? So he comes back, he's gonna miss like so much.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he then kind of get held back?
Yeah, or at least take summer school. Yeah.
Yeah, to make some of those to make half those classes up, because I'm like, you've missed. Because remember our school, you could only miss so many days.
Right.
You couldn't just freely come and go when you pleased.
Right.
So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, and Whitey even told Jake that Jenny deserves a whole lot better than a high school dropout for a father.
I was surprised at what he said that.
Yeah.
When he
can be
said that, I was
very
like,
blunt. Yeah.
well, that's the funniest thing is like, he's blunt with everybody. Because you would think, certain people like the Scotts, he could, because, he's got that reputation in that family where he can say that stuff. But the fact that he says it to everybody, it's like,
Yeah.
because you would think in some families, you might get sued for saying stuff. But he, he just doesn't care. He's going to say whatever he wants. And it's just, I mean, I just was surprised he said that. Because he's not, because when you think of like a high school dropout, you think like they're being lazy and stuff, right? Or they're doing drugs.
Yeah.
But Jake was something different. He didn't want to leave, first of all. And secondly, he was working. It's not like he was doing nothing.
Yeah.
So he was paying for his daughter. So it's not like he was totally doing nothing. Because, that's just how you think when you hear dropout.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to be. So that's why when Whitey said it, I was surprised Jake didn't come back with like a stronger answer besides agreeing with him.
Right. And then Whitey asks if he's going to disappear again, and Jake says he doesn't plan on it, even though we know that he does eventually.
He just comes and goes.
Yeah, so Whitey says that there's a meeting tonight. He'll talk to Turner then. And then he mentions a safe place that Jake is building. He says for him not to do it alone. There's a lot of people ready to help.
Hey, Cynthia, I have a question.
Yeah.
Try to think of like the rest of season 2. Because I don't remember. But do we see Tim again?
See who?
Tim.
I don't know. You think they would bring him in after Haley left to, comfort Nathan, but
or make him, out of control even more than we know he does. Like you would think that like, because Tim hated that Nathan got married. You would think that he, remember she's the ball and chain, that he would be a bad influence on Nathan. And help him turn into the old Nathan that I'm like, because I feel like he spirals by himself.
Right.
I mean, I don't really remember Tim coming back. I mean, I know in the future he does, but I'm just like thinking, was that the end of Tim?
Yeah, I can't even remember if he was there at graduation.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't there in season 4. No, he comes back in season 3.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember either. Like, or even like their second wedding, Nathan and Haley's. I don't remember.
Well, I remember the only reason why I remember the one episode of season 3, it was because they were doing that where the girls, the cheerleaders were picking the boys for the draft or whatever.
Oh, the
And
basketball draft or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
remember Brooke telling Tim, no one even picked you.
yeah.
So that's the only reason why I remember him in season 3. But again, I don't really think he was like, I think may have been his only episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he like fell off the face of the earth again. But I'm
Right.
thinking in season 2, I don't really remember him coming back. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird? Because we just
Yeah.
talked, because it's coming off of Jake coming in and out of the series. But it's like Tim kind of did the same thing.
Right.
That's so weird. It's like
Yeah.
do you think they were just like going through of who they felt was like they were kind of casting in their own cast of who they felt could succeed moving forward all together in a group?
Right.
You know how they do on like reality shows? They're like, you're not a good fit, so you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's what they did? And they were just like, yeah, Tim, no, like we can do without him.
No, he actually does come back this season. The next one's 15. An opened letter to the world, where Whitey gives that assignment about like the time capsule.
And he's in it?
Yeah, that's what IDMB is telling me at least.
Oh.
But yeah, what are the other ones? He's in 1, 2, 3, 5 of the seasons there. 1, 2, 3, 5. So he skips 4, comes back 5, and then is gone after that.
Well, and in 5, he's only in the 1.
Yeah, and then
So
this season he's in 15, 20, and 21 for the rest of it. So.
See, we're only gonna get him like 3 more times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yep.
Until season 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. I think they were just like kind of, we don't really need you, only for sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like Anna, like they only needed her for her plot line. Now that's kind of like at least paused right now. They don't need her either. So.
Isn't it weird?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
And even
a lot of shows do that.
I know, but even like Felix, he's kind of like, now that we're getting a lot of Lucas, now that we're getting a lot of Lucas and Brooke again, it's like, you're good.
Yeah.
Because I know they eventually leave, but it's just like, when?
Right. Yeah. Everything's kind of put on pause right now.
That's, I mean, I think they're just kind of going through the list of like who's going to make it at this point.
Yeah. And then the next scene is with Nathan going to Haley on the quad. I did like how he used that segue. So yeah, how he used that segue, like about how's your parents? Have you talked to them lately? And then he just like answered the emails from Chris.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
I love my Nathan.
Yeah.
That's so good. You told me you didn't like it?
No, I did. That's why I said I like the segue that he used about her parents and then just gave her the emails. Didn't even like really.
Here you go.
He wasn't interested, yeah, in what she said about her parents.
I know. I'm like, I'm surprised he even let her talk.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
Yeah, so I didn't really see how many it was, like how many pages. I think it was a few, but
it was a few, yeah. Also, okay, her parents, I'm sorry, they don't get any kind of award. This is what I mean. Like, I'm close with my family. You're close with yours. Your parents just like leave you. You're married now. We'll never see you again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because family members get married, it doesn't mean your parents just up and leave.
Right. Yeah. Cut you off. Yeah.
And here's the thing too is, okay, because you know how you were like, oh, well, they have no place on the show anymore. They never had a place on the show. We never saw them.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done the same thing. They're just down the road.
Right.
She visits them. We just don't see it. They could have done that.
Yeah.
Like, it would have made more sense of instead of these people who just up and leave their kid. And now Haley's going through a terrible, point in her marriage, on her own fault. No fault of Nathan, just her. It's like, and yet her parents aren't there.
Right.
Like, okay, don't you think like Taylor knowing that Haley's in this bad situation, again, Haley doing it on her own, do you think Taylor would have been like, again, if her parents lived down the road, don't you think she would have like told her parents?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that like you're supposed to do as parents.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird how her parents don't know any of this. It's just really weird because, again, I feel like Taylor wouldn't know what to do at this point. So she's like, I'll go to my parents.
Right.
That's what siblings would do if they don't know what to do.
Yeah, so Haley's not happy with how he went through her emails, but, that's not the important matter right now.
First of all, it kind of just popped up, remember? What's he supposed to do? Just go, he saw who it was from.
Yeah.
Anybody would investigate it. Okay, remember when she investigated the porn?
Right, yep. Same thing, yep.
Why didn't he? I swear, like there's times that you can bring up stuff, right? Wouldn't this be a prime example of, because she's kind of throwing in privacy, She went through his computer.
Right.
When they were dating. And she didn't like what she saw. Well, he didn't like what he saw, and yours, Haley, is a totally worse than his.
Yep.
Because you physically did something. All he did was, imagine things. Hers was totally different. And I was just like, Haley. But then, okay, Cynthia, why is it Haley doesn't actually answer questions?
Yeah, I know, because he asks what this is. She says nothing. She just sent him one email to say, go look on the tour.
But then she said it was Taylor because, I was at Karen's Cafe at this day. And then when Nathan just comes out and says it, did you kiss him? She said nothing. I was like, all she said was, this was all Taylor. And I'm like, you didn't answer the question.
Right.
Which, to me, if you don't answer the question, it means that's the answer.
Right.
The person doesn't want to say no. So, and give the actual answer. So I just feel like that's the answer, Nathan, because she, again, deflected and didn't answer, but she also did that at that formal.
Yep.
When he said,
party,
when he came out and said, do you like him or do you have feelings for him? And she said nothing. She waited until what, an hour later to say no.
Right.
I'm like, I think you do like him. Have you ever noticed too when she lies, her tone of her voice goes down?
No, I didn't notice.
I noticed. She goes, no, I don't. And I'm like, like when she was telling Peyton, just no. I was like, Haley, why is your tone change when you lie? And how is it Nathan hasn't figured that out yet?
Right.
But I'm just like, why are you blaming Taylor? I mean, yeah, she wrote the emails back, but what was in them was true. So that's not a lie. But also, Nathan got his answer, I feel like, when she didn't answer.
Right, yeah.
But why is it? Okay, she had no problems telling Peyton he kissed me. Why is it she couldn't just answer? I'm like, why is it this girl who is supposed to be the best one on the show doesn't actually answer?
I think it's because she's not married to Peyton, so she doesn't feel that guilt to like hide the truth, maybe.
She's not worried Peyton's gonna say something. I mean, it's bad enough that Taylor knows.
Yeah, she probably thinks that Peyton won't.
I mean, Taylor's blackmailing her into staying.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, so Nathan, he says, so you don't mind if I kick Taylor out? Again, Taylor's blackmailing you. Don't you think if Taylor's blackmailing you because she knows this information, don't you think she would then tell Nathan?
Yeah, because that was the deal beforehand. Yeah.
Yes. And then she says, and then her answer was like, basically, you can kick her out. And I'm like, oh, like, really, Haley? That was the reason why Taylor's staying is because of the kiss. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at all.
Right.
I was like, you're going to just go along. Okay. And you know what's weird too? Haley didn't even like flinch to like run and go find Taylor. Do you know what I mean? To have that, okay. Because like if I was Haley, not that I would be, but like if I was Haley, I would like go find my sister and like tell her what's going on.
Right.
I'd be like, I'll try to figure something out for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're blackmailing me.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I never confessed to my husband. But she didn't. She just was like agreeing to it. And I'm like, why does she think it's not going to come out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I have an issue with that, is why you think you're just so innocent that everyone is just going to go along with your answers. Why does the girl think she's innocent?
I don't know.
I can't help guilty people.
And then in class, Whitey is teaching student government for some reason.
I didn't know he was a teacher.
Right.
I thought he was just the coach.
Yeah, I guess that's, they're giving him a reason to do something, this season.
Well, yeah, there's no basketball.
Yeah. So he hands out a sign-up sheet for everybody to sign up for something. And the girl standing in front of Brooke introduces herself as Erica Marsh. And,
it's our time for Erica Marsh.
And she never thought Brooke would be involved in government. And, Brooke says that she's the captain of the cheerleading squad and former homecoming queen, so it can't be that different. Nope, it's really different.
But how did you like that when Erica said, she goes, why don't you run for secretary? Nobody wants that job.
Right.
And then Brooke, no, I'm running for president. Which is weird because I thought everybody in the room was running for president.
I think it was just like everything, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, because the sign-up sheet, I guess, had different groups, different titles, So, but I didn't like how Erica was kind of like talking down to Brooke, saying that everybody in the room has at least a 3.8 GPA and a ton of outside interests, like trying to make her feel bad about herself and like quit, walk out.
Yeah, but that's Erica.
Yeah,
but Brooke has been a bully.
Yeah, so she can handle it. Yeah.
I mean, she's not innocent. Karma does come around. And maybe this is her karma.
Yeah, because Erica lists the stuff that she does, and Brooke sarcastically says, "Wow, you do all of that and still have time to talk to us little people."
That was funny.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Brooke knows how to come back with something.
And then when Brooke said that she's running for president, Erica was like offended because she's like, I've been president since 7th grade.
It's like, so?
Yeah, and Brooke says, really? What's your name again? And then Erica actually answers.
I know, I was like,
joking.
I was like, really? Well, and then it was funny because then she called her, what was it, Vivica or something?
Yeah.
I was like, and she goes, no, it's Erica. And she's like,
whatever.
You already said your name like 3 different times. Really? She knows your name. I just thought that was stupid. I'm like, and you have a 3-point-some GPA? And you don't realize Brooke is just messing with you?
Yeah.
That's what I thought was weird.
And then Lucas walks into the cafe. Karen's happy he's there to help her with Deb since she's out of town. Never said why, but she's just gone. And Lucas says he'll, help her the deliveries, but first he has, give her the results of his test.
Oh, yeah, and he doesn't have it.
Right.
Sure.
And then he says Key is okay too.
So when you watched this the first time, did you think he was telling the truth?
I I don't know. It's hard to remember because it was like a good maybe 9 years ago now. But
Yeah, and it's hard for me because it was 12 years ago. So
yeah, like because what he made a whole big deal of taking the test, so you would think that he would make a big deal of opening the results. Like he would be anxious to like even do it. Like maybe give her the envelope to open so he doesn't have to see something like that. Like make a more big deal out of it would have made more sense with the way he was acting before.
but he just randomly, I don't have it.
Right.
It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and then I mean, but then he, it's like the next thing he says is, I want to move in with Dan, and it's like, huh?
Right.
That's why it's like, and it's weird too. It's like Karen knows something's up, but it's like she didn't put it together.
Right. Even though it was right there.
But don't you think it would have said like the letter would have said Keith's name?
Yeah, I don't know how he got away with that.
That's why I'm so confused.
Unless he like scanned it into his computer and then like changed it to his name and then printed that out, maybe. That's what I can think of if he knows how to do that. But yeah.
Because I'm just like, you do find out it's Keith's test. Well, don't you think it would have like the date of birth or something?
Yeah, he would probably have to change a couple of things to make it look legit. Yeah.
Because like when you get like lab results and stuff, it has your name, date of birth, address, like all of that stuff. That's how I'm like, how would you not know it's Keith's?
Right. Yeah. He had to, like I said, use it on his computer to change all that.
Oh, Lucas going through. But maybe Dan's the one that did it.
Yeah, that could be it too.
But Dan didn't know because he said, how did you trick your mom? So,
yeah.
So never mind. He did it all by himself.
Yeah. But then
Karen. But I guess Brooke has rubbed off on him. Remember, Brooke does the fake IDs. So I'm guessing he learned a little, thing.
Yeah.
To do.
And then, but Karen thinks he's not serious about moving in. So she says, yeah, and I want to drive metal spikes into my eyes.
Oh my God. That was so good. And then he's like, I know it sounds crazy. It's like, just because it is crazy. Duh.
Yeah.
Like you of all people, you hated Dan. You're going to live with him?
Right. Yep. So he tells her that's what he wants and then walks off. And then Keith walks into the dealership where Dan tells him he's late. He asks where he was, and he says he stopped by to check on Jules. Dan tells him he should have called.
So Dan was so stern. He was like, you're late. And it's like, and then it was, okay. It was funny because he was like, your office right now. And I'm like, it's just kind of funny because normally you say my office.
Right.
To yell at somebody. I'm like, but you're going to say your office? It was just really weird, but obviously it's to surprise him on his engagement. I'm like, Dan, you're going too far.
Yeah.
Don't you think Dan has gone a little too far? I mean, he is paying Keith way more than Keith has ever been paid. He gave him, was it vice president or something?
Yeah.
It's just like, don't you think it's going through a lot? Like, if you truly hate somebody, you're not going to go and give them a good job. You're not going to go and give them money. And to tell you, Dan's going through a lot of financial things for Keith. You know what I mean? For somebody you truly hate and has done wrong in your eyes, I just find it a little weird. Like, especially Dan. He doesn't just hand money out to people.
Right.
So it's just weird that he's throwing out a lot of money. Because didn't he say it was like 6 figures or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That's a lot of money to just hand out to somebody you hate. And he's paying Jules on top of it. So it's like, you really are going through a lot.
And then he offers to pay for the wedding too, so.
I know. I'm like, you hate him. Okay, and we know. And it's like, I mean, Dan has to believe that this isn't going to go right. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can't actually believe the wedding is going to happen, right?
Right.
But he's really going to pay for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
have to at least have a down payment on everything.
Yeah.
To secure. So I just
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine that Dan would pay for everything. It's just
Right.
weird. Like, again, if you hate somebody, I'm not paying for all your stuff. I hate you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it was funny how Dan tells Keith that he hopes Jules makes him happy as Deb has made him.
I know. I was like, Deb's made you happy?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then he makes a toast and says that he hopes that their lives together are filled with many more surprises.
Oh my God, Dan is just so good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, what's funny is just like he is just smiling ear to ear. But again, it's like, how does Keith not pick up on this?
Right.
Like, when has your brother ever been genuinely nice to you? Never. Maybe
Right.
when you were
And
5.
yeah, unless he has a scheme, planned.
That's what I mean. It's just, that's why I said it's not genuine. It's never been.
No.
So given that you know that, and you slept with his wife,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Keith, maybe the drinking has gotten to you. I don't know, because
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it. How
Right.
it doesn't register to you.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when Dan sees Karen walking up to his office, so he goes in because they were like in a conference. Yeah, they were in a case room, so they went over to the.
Who did you
Apparently,
say
his
was coming in?
Karen.
Oh, I think you said Deb. I was like, I thought it was Karen.
Yeah, so his and Keith's office are just right next to each other, I guess. But yeah, she comes storming in and says, "What the hell are you doing with Lucas?" Dan says, "Oh, he told you." And Karen says that he's only moving in with him and not the real reason why. And Dan says that he just wants to get, he wants to get to know his father. And Karen says
Oh
that's
my
crap.
God, this was funny though, because as she's yelling, he's just like walking. And it's like, then he, of course, walks into the room, Keith's office. And it was just, really, Dan?
Yeah.
And then she's like, what is this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, Dan did that on purpose.
Yeah.
First, he got out of getting yelled at. Secondly, here you go.
Embarrass her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Keith's getting married.
Yep. Embarrass her and then catch her by surprise. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Haley catches up to Peyton at school and tells her Nathan found out she kissed Chris because he found out from her idiot sister emailing him under her screen name because apparently the drama in her own life isn't enough. And Payne asks, how did he take it? And Haley says that she told him that Taylor made it up.
Yeah, and then she goes, you didn't tell him?
Mm-hmm.
No, she doesn't care to. She's been lying for how long now?
Yeah.
Here's the problem, is her lying is just now, it's like Jules. It's getting old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she didn't see the point of telling Nathan since Chris is out of her life, apparently.
It doesn't matter. Like, I feel like it would eat you alive. If you're not a liar in real life,
Mm-hmm.
it would eat you alive. Like, there are people that they're just so good at lying,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even phase them, like Dan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then there are other people like us that it's like, if we lie, especially that big of a lie,
Mm-hmm.
how can you sleep at night?
Right.
I wouldn't be able to sleep. I wouldn't be able to eat. It would just
Mm-hmm.
eat at me that I would need to confess just to make myself feel better,
Mm-hmm.
even if it ruins everything. But again, you're the one that put yourself in this situation, so deal with it.
Yeah. And then somehow Haley can be honest with Peyton about Chris, like her and him are connected through music, and he understands that part of her in a way that Nathan doesn't.
Also, do you know what I wish Peyton would do? Okay. Here's the thing is, because I know like a lot of time it's like, girl power, let's be on her side, right? Well, if this was Nathan and he had kissed somebody twice,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be so happy about that.
Right.
We wouldn't be so accepting of that.
Mm-hmm.
We would call him names.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like, oh, you can't say Haley's this and that. You can't call her names. That's sexist. We would say to Nate about Nathan.
Right.
It's double standards. And so it's like, no. And also, we would then feel bad for Haley, right? If Nathan had done this and not tell her. Well, it's the same. You gotta say, I just wish like Peyton would have said that. Like, what if this was Nathan? Because I know we're putting it as Haley's situation, but you gotta feel for Nathan.
Right.
And Nathan's been the one that previously has been the cheater. And now he's changed. And, it's like we love him. And then there's the cheater, his wife. And so it's like, but again, if the roles were reversed, we would say they need to end it right now. Why aren't we saying the same thing about Nathan and Haley right now?
Right.
Like to support Nathan. How come nobody's supporting Nathan in this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I do feel like it's one-sided.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has a care in the world for Nathan.
Tim would.
Tim would be like, remember her ball and chain? Get rid of her.
Yeah.
But I just don't like it because we should be on Nathan's side. But for some reason, nobody is. I am.
Maybe because part of it has to do, with her music, like her dream, maybe, but
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nathan goes to a basketball camp, and it's not just guys there. There's girls, right? Same thing could happen. He could, but it's just about basketball.
Yeah.
We wouldn't feel the same way.
No.
So why should we feel the same way about Haley and music?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like the double standard that we've got going on here.
Right, yeah.
And again, if this was Nathan, Peyton would be calling him out. It would come around, it would go around quickly. But we're all going to just side with Haley and just try to comfort her and not tell the truth. I don't like it. Right. Also, do you remember how upset Haley was at Peyton?
Yeah.
And Lucas? I wish Peyton would be that way with Haley and throw that in her face of like, I remember, a couple months ago, you hated me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just wish she would say something, but why is Peyton being so nice? This is what I don't understand. Peyton is the bold one.
Yeah.
So why isn't she saying crap to her? And it's the stuff she needs to hear. Which is, if you don't say something, I will.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to sleep at night. So it just bothers me.
Yeah.
Because Nathan, I feel like, is just doing everything right. He's doing everything he's supposed to. Trying to save whatever is left of his marriage. Also, did you ever realize that ever since they got married, it just went downhill?
Yeah.
It's like, aren't they realizing what was the point of it?
Right. Yeah, and then Peyton did ask Haley that if Chris was in town, would she be into him because she kissed him? And Haley says that it was a mistake, and Peyton asks if the connection is strictly music, and she says that's all it is. She loves Nathan.
Yeah, it just goes with her. Doesn't question it.
Right. And then Keith goes to see Karen at the cafe. She tells him congratulations. And Keith says he's sorry, for her finding out that way. And Karen asks why he didn't tell her. And he says that for as long as he can remember, he wanted to be with her, Karen. And then he proposed, turned him down, and he thought he'd never have any love in his life. But now that
how did you like this conversation?
Yeah, I don't think she needed the whole play-by-play of what happened because she was there. But
I don't think he needed to kind of
rehash what happened.
Well, make a dig at her.
Yeah.
Like, you know, me loving you all those years, made me basically the person I am for Jules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I could love her, the love of my life. It's like,
Right.
really, Keith?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go down that?
Yeah.
And then to see Karen's face, I'm like, yes, was I on Keith's side? 100%, through, Karen saying no. Yes, I was on his side, but I think he went a little overboard here.
Yeah.
Because first of all, we know that Jules is lying. Secondly, it's like, how much do you know about her?
Right.
So it's just really annoying. But yeah, she's the love of your life. Okay. But I just don't feel like Karen needed to hear all that.
Right.
And to make her feel bad. Like, they both moved on, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you both moved on, why do you need to throw that in that person's face?
Right.
It's done and over with, right?
Mm-hmm.
The choices have been made. If you're so happy with Jules, you don't need to throw that in her face.
Right.
That's how I feel. I don't know why people always feel the need to say more than they should.
Mm-hmm.
Just say you're happy with Jules.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Not basically, what you did made me fall for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one. No.
Right. Yeah, so he says that Lucas already agreed to be his best man. And
How'd you like when she said, I didn't know that?
Right. Yeah, because all Lucas has talked about is moving in with Dan.
Well, but before that, she wasn't talking to him because of the test.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't really know much because all of a sudden she's finding out that Lucas wants to move in with Dan and Keith's getting married. Well, she may have known that if she would have talked to Lucas, but remember, she was shutting him out because of the test.
Yeah. And then at school, Brooke is hanging up her campaign posters in the hallways. Payne and Haley come walking up. She asks them if they like the posters, and Haley tells her she's never seen Brooke looking so, Brooke acts presidential, and Payne answers funeral.
I didn't
And
like
Brooke,
this.
about what Payne said, or
Peyton and Haley.
not like supporting her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's your friend, and for Peyton, that's your best friend,
Mm-hmm.
why aren't you supporting her? Why aren't you like, those are great pictures? Or, hey, I'll take some better pictures for you. Or,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what I mean? Like, why are they
Yeah.
making digs at her when you're supposed to be supporting your friend?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were going out for something, I wouldn't be like, that's horrible, and making all these comments about you. I would be like, that's great. What else can I do? What can I help you with? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just catty stuff. It's not friendship stuff.
Right.
That's what you would say if you truly don't like somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But why aren't they supportive of her?
I don't know.
Why are they're making this like a joke of what Brooke's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't like it.
Yeah, Felix is the only one that's helping her.
Yeah, he's the only one that's truly like, this isn't a joke. What do you need? I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is he's not getting the credit that he deserves.
Right.
He's doing it kind of like quietly and silently and not getting any credit for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then Brooke asks Payne about, what's going on with her and Jake, and Brooke and Haley tickle her sides, and Payne says they're playing by ear. And Brooke asks if they're all playing, and Payne says nothing, and Brooke says that's fine, just keep her fingers crossed and expect the juicy details later. Yeah, so Brooke is interested in what's going on with Jake with Payne, but not Payne with Brooke's campaign.
Mm-hmm. See, Brooke being a good friend.
Mm-hmm. But then she looks at the posters that she hung up earlier, and now sees that there's like a little smaller poster over it with the words, "Want a president with a 2.3 GPA." And Brooke asks who put them there, and her question is quickly answered because Erica's voice is coming from the TV in the hallway.
I have two things about this.
Yeah.
First, how does she know that Brooke has a 2.3 GPA?
She had to have gone through her records or something, which is wrong. Yeah.
And secondly, they have a TV that just plays Erica.
Yeah, this is probably the first time we see the TV in the series. I know it's, used a lot afterward too, but yeah.
But I'm just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't have TVs in the hallway just playing like people's campaigns.
Right, yeah.
We didn't have campaigns.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's weird. Like when you watch shows, it's like, is this real? Because it's like, like stuff they do like in school. Because it's like we didn't have
Mm-hmm.
like just some of the stuff they do. You're like, wow, if we would have had that, maybe I would have enjoyed school a little more.
Right.
Like we didn't have I know we had like student council stuff, right? But we didn't
Mm-hmm.
have like campaigns.
No.
It was like we did have voting, but there was definitely no campaigns going on. We didn't even have little flyers that said vote for so and so for president. It was an advisory. You got a list of the who was running, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like a silent thing. You just voted one day and that was it.
Yeah.
There was no campaigning for them. It was, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you missed advisory that day, you didn't get to vote.
Right.
Like there was no polls and all of this. And it was the same thing for homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
We did it in advisory. There was nobody campaigning. You just put who you wanted. And then that was it. And then they
Yeah.
announced it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I just wonder if like all schools are, I mean, they're all different. So it's just kind of weird because it's like for us in our experience, we didn't have any of this.
Yeah. Sophia had said that she did the same thing when she was in high school. And then Joy said she did something too when she was in elementary.
Elementary?
Yeah. But like she actually like made a performance out of it, which wasn't the usual norm. But and she like made a whole performance out of, like I said, performance out of it. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess it really depends on the school. And in course of this case, like it's the show that needs drama, so of course they're gonna do this and go all out. But yeah.
Can I just point something out?
Hmm.
Brooke goes out for president,
Mm-hmm.
and she has the election right now going on. Do you remember? And what season is this?
You mean like right now, or
Yeah, it's season 2.
yeah?
Dawson's Creek had their
Mhm.
election, Andy and Joey's. Season 2.
Oh, okay, I didn't think of that.
I'm like, shouldn't you? I don't know. I'm just like, we're pointing people's names out. I'm like, and then you pick the same season to do an election
Mm-hmm.
for somebody that wouldn't be president. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't go out, just like Joey wouldn't go out. It's like, I don't know, just there's just some things repeating itself.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm supposed to point out the differences, right? And similarities.
Yeah. And then we see that Erica has also tried to make Brooke look bad by showing a clip saying she has proof that Brooke had stuffed the ballot box. But then, and then we see the clip, but Brooke explains that she knocked it over by accident and was putting them back. So that's the only clip that they showed. But it made it look like
Also,
she was
how does
stuffing
she
it.
have a clip of that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the school probably has cameras like our school did, but I wouldn't think that Erica could get camera footage from the school of Brooke.
Yeah, and it was like a close up as if someone was recording her with a phone, but they only had the flip phones back then. I don't know how good quality that would have been to show that, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so curious. I mean, given how Brooke wasn't going out for student council at this point, there's no need for Erica to get juicy stuff on Brooke. So why would you have that footage?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very weird.
Mm-hmm. But then she goes even lower because then there's a close-up shot of Brooke's chest as she's walking down the hall. And Brooke
Again,
says,
how'd you get that?
Yeah. Because Erica mentions that the ballot isn't the only thing she stuffs. And Brooke, says she hasn't stuffed her bra since puberty. She can't believe that she's went negative, Well, she called her a little bitch, went negative. And then Payne says she can't believe Erica beat her to it. So, yeah, but you could tell Brooke wanted to, play a fair game with this until now, at least.
Which I'm surprised at Brooke.
Yeah, but, like we've said, she's changed, I think, ever since getting that job, basically. Even though it was
I think it was once her
2-3
parents
days.
lost money.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Because remember, she no longer was interested in marrying the rich man, which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, she did have that fake fundraiser to get money, but yeah, she's changed since then.
Yeah, but I'm saying when Felix and her were in a real relationship and he wanted to pay for everything, she was like, no, like, I don't want you to buy me things. And so, like, she was definitely changing at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then at the cafe, Karen watches Lucas as he takes an order to a customer, and he mentions that's a little frosty in here. And then Karen's kind of like, rude and asks if he's there to eat or give a weather report, and Andy asks what's going on. He thought Lucas did the test and was fine.
I felt bad for Andy in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, this scene, her being a little, but then later on, I felt bad for him too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, Karen tells him that Lucas wants to move in with Dan, but she hasn't been able to get him to budge on why, but she's going to ask Keith to try.
See? And he's like,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. In this scene, I felt bad for him. Because again, I'm sure he's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I get why it would be Keith, because Keith is obviously the closest male figure to Lucas.
And Dan's brother.
Right. So he has more involvement in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I get where Andy's coming from, which is, shouldn't I be the person you talk to? Shouldn't I be the person that tries to figure stuff out now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I get that point, but I do get where she would want Keith, but it does seem like it just rolls off her tongue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have Keith do this.
Yeah.
Instead of, let's try to figure something out together with me,
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can just see it on Andy's face. It's like, oh, you're not going to be the first phone call, dude.
Right. Because she even mentions that Keith is getting married to Jules, and Karen, Andy says that's great, but she says, how well does he know this girl? Like, what if he's just blinded by a pretty face and a hot body? And Andy says that's what some would say about her. But
she just gives him a look.
Yeah, but you could tell that he's probably wondering why it's such a concern for her.
Yeah, like if you're over Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Let him be happy. Like, you should want him happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just as you're supposed to be happy with Andy.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, yeah, because it's like, if you're so into Keith's love life, then what are we?
Right.
Like, this isn't serious then. Like, Andy's taking this so serious, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But is she?
Right. And then Brooke and Felix walk into the cafe, with Felix telling Brooke she can't let Erica get away with smearing her like that. He says if she leaves the accusations alone, they will become the truth. And then Lucas is their waiter, which I thought was a little awkward.
That was funny.
Yeah. Because then,
I thought Lucas was only doing deliveries.
Right, yeah. I don't know. Today, I guess he's just being a waiter. But because even Brooke asks Lucas what does he think she should do about Erica's ads, like she's getting his opinion right in front of Felix.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucas asks if they're true. Brooke says some of them, and then Lucas tells her not to deny it. Politicians always get caught when they lie. I don't know about that, but
I was gonna say,
yeah. But even when they do, some people still don't believe it. But anyways, Felix tells him,
and they get voted in anyway.
Yep. And Felix tells him, that's brilliant, Gina. Stick to slinging hash. So Felix
but
still
also
has
politicians. If you watch politician TV shows, all they do is sabotage the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and we vote for these people
Right.
in office. It's like all they're doing is going after the other person or the other person's family. And it's like, and what's the point of this? Aren't you supposed to go after their politics, not their families and stuff and who they, you know what I mean? Like, I am concerned about what they're going to do, not what their family, you know, is up to, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, but why are we always going after that? It's like, really?
Yeah. But it was funny because after Felix said that to Lucas, he just ignored him and tells Brooke that people like her, so just to be who she is. And then that's
But
when
people like her?
Brooke, yeah.
People like Brooke?
Well, her friends, yeah.
Because if I remember that party she outed everybody in that red dress? Everybody hated her then. Even her friends. That's what I'm saying is people like Brooke. Like, she's awfully mean to people. Like, people remember that. That's the problem is people are not going to vote for Brooke just because they're going to remember everything she's said or done to them.
Yeah.
Or giving them a look. You know, they remember that. We remember that stuff. Us little people, we remember that stuff.
Yeah. So then Payne and Jake walk in with Payne telling Brooke that Michelle Branch and Jessica Harp are playing at Trick tomorrow and holding up the poster for it. Brooke says the event would be perfect for her campaign launch party.
all about her campaign. Not that, you know, we're actually getting musicians.
Right.
It's like just that it's better for my campaign.
Yeah, and it was funny because Payne was like all so excited about, you know, them going and she agrees with that. But then she thinks, you know, wait, what? You know,
your campaign, what?
Yeah. And then Nathan gets home to where Taylor asks him if he can help her zip her top up. And
so weird. When then she said brother, I'm like,
yeah,
weird.
Yeah, creepy. And he tells her she's busted, you know, asks where she's been. She says she met some people at the beach and was partying all night. And he tells her that he knows she's pretending to be Haley and emailed Chris. He asks what kind of sister does that, something that twisted. And Taylor answers, you know, the kind that's hoping the baby of the family doesn't screw up like she did. So
well, and then though when the kiss was brought up, and he said, like, I know you made that up and stuff, and he's like, I talked to Haley. It's like, and she's a liar.
Yeah.
Like, it's like at that point, I just wish she would have said something. I wish, you know, Taylor would have said something.
Yeah, but do you think Nathan would have believed her?
No, but at least the truth would have been out there. At least one person wouldn't be hiding Haley's secret.
Right.
Like everybody seems to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Also, Nathan's kicking you out, so isn't that the perfect time to say it? Well, because remember Felix. Remember he said, I didn't do that to your windshield. But you can believe it or not, but the truth is I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it could have been like that, which is, I'm telling the truth, so you can either believe it or not, but at the end of the day, I didn't do it. Taylor could have done the same thing, and then obviously we would have found out that, you know, Nathan would have found out the truth.
Right.
Coming anyway.
Yeah, so
when she's like, oh, she lied.
Yeah, then Nathan tells her to find somewhere else to crash because she's out of there. And then just the right next, you know, the next scene right after that one, I don't know why they didn't space it out better.
I know, I was like, there's Taylor again with Haley.
Yeah.
And she's still there.
Yeah. So
but this is I hate this scene. Because Haley is on a high horse. Thinking she's just better than everybody else, and as if she didn't cause anything. Because she's blaming Taylor.
Yeah.
Instead of blaming herself. Instead of realizing she's the problem in all of this.
Right.
But she's just blaming Taylor, like, oh, you did this. And she may have sent the emails, but again, what was written was true. Can't deny that, Haley. No matter how much you try to blame Nathan and Chris and Taylor, it all falls back to you.
Yeah, and then like Peyton, not Peyton, like Brooke, she calls Taylor a conniving little bitch. Like
What is
Brooke
she
called
being?
Danica. Yeah, I know. And that's what Taylor says too. Taylor tells Haley that she's the bitch who's kissing a guy who isn't her husband.
Exactly.
She's needing a scapegoat, which is fine, but letting Nathan think that this is on her when they both know the kiss happened, yeah.
That's what I mean is I'm so glad Taylor said something to her. But again, you just wish Nathan would have been there when she did it. But it's just like I hated Haley in this first of all this episode, but secondly the scene because you should have been I'm sorry to Taylor. Like I know what you did was wrong, but don't you remember too that I know Haley doesn't know this, but like we do, that Taylor stopped him from, she said, we're, like this is done. And then she was there for Haley ever since.
Yeah,
I
we
have an
don't
issue
know.
with that. Like your sister has been there. Like, yeah, she was, doing stuff she shouldn't have done. But after that, hasn't she kind of proven that she's there for you?
Yeah, I'm wondering if how many messages Nathan had printed out for Haley to see, because maybe he left that one out that she left for Chris to leave her alone. I'm thinking so.
But also, it's just annoying too, though. I mean, for Taylor, because Taylor's right now one of the only people besides Peyton that knows and is there for you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna just be let's call it out, be a bitch to her.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Like, why does Haley think she's better than everybody?
Right.
And she's causing all the drama.
And
that's why I hate when she's like, well, Taylor's like full of drama. No, she's getting the drama from you.
Yeah.
But you liked her in this episode when she was all acting like she's better than everybody else?
No.
And
no.
is it as if she's caused none of this?
No. And then just then Nathan walks in. Taylor tells him to have a pastry because they're celebrating her leaving tonight. And then there's a knock on the door. Taylor opens it and it's Dan. And Dan says,
this was good.
Yeah.
Because Dan was so good. And he, because he's like, I'm Dan. And she's like, and I'm out of your league.
Yeah.
But then he got creepy. He got creepy though. He said, want to bet?
Right. Because at first he called Taylor an upgrade too from Haley. So
Yeah.
that was rude. Yeah.
Especially because Nathan and Haley were standing right there.
Yeah.
But then when he said, want to bet? I'm like, dude.
Right. Yeah. That was too far.
She's like 18,
19. Yeah.
It's gross.
Which is technically legal, but not that much older than his son or his son. So, and then, he tells Nathan that he's giving him the rest of his stuff because they need to make room for Lucas when he moves in.
Lucas is moving in, and then Haley goes, Lucas is moving in. He goes, yeah, guess I'm not the devil after all. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
And then back at school, we see a poster by Brooke that has a picture of a drunk, but smiling Brooke on the floor of a party with the words, Brooke Davis for president, Erica Marsh never parties this hard. And then there's another that says, yes, Brooke Davis has a 2.3 GPA, at least she never cheats, with a picture of her holding a test with a D+ on it. And then that's when Erica walks up and asks Brooke if she's implying that she cheats for her 4.0, GPA. And Brooke says, absolutely not. And Brooke says, just, she wasn't implying that, just like she wasn't implying that she's a double-digit IQ. And Erica walks away. And then Lucas catches up to Nathan in the hallway inside school. He asks him what's going on.
Oh, but Nathan, I love this because, then Nathan confronts him. You're moving in with Dan? And then, but I did like when he said that, what happened to he can't make him a substitute Nathan.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Lucas, what happened to that? Like, he didn't want to be the new Nathan.
Right. Yeah, Lucas just says it's more complicated than that.
And he walks away. Whatever, man. Walks away. I'm like, Nathan.
Yeah. And then just then Brooke walks up to Lucas and she asks to write a killer platform speech if she's going to win the election, but has no idea where to start. And Lucas says, try asking Felix. And Brooke answers, because she needs to get different help because Whitey told them just to read speeches by world leaders. And then he mentioned Charles, can't pronounce his last name, but she thought that was the exchange student that's always smelling his fingers in class. So obviously she has no idea, and needs his area of expertise, not hers. Then asks if he will help her. And Lucas asks about how tonight, right before the trick event, and Brooke tells him that he's the best and thanks him. So then later at the house, she says maybe
Did you like that?
Well, no, because I feel like that's I feel like Felix would be hurt by her asking Lucas for help with that. But
well, especially because she was getting a lot of help from Felix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's dating him. Like, this just, I don't know. I don't like it.
Right.
Well, especially given that Felix was jealous that Brooke was with Lucas the morning after the dance.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I just, Felix was jealous with that, and that, they weren't dating at the time. So it's like, given that they're dating now and it's obviously more serious and she's going to Lucas for help.
Right.
It's wrong, because would she want that? No.
Mm-hmm.
But why does she think it's not wrong?
I don't know. She's just trying to get help from wherever she can, which is assumingly just Felix and Lucas. But then later at her house, she says maybe she should do a contest, tell people to vote for her and win a date with her or offer a makeover. And Lucas tells her she doesn't need a gimmick, which is true. But I don't know if they gave her rules or something about campaign, but that would be, bribing, which, I mean, you're not supposed to do it in the real world either, but we know some people do that as well. And then,
well, you don't think Erica's bribing people?
Yeah, she could, yeah.
We just don't know about it.
Yeah. And then Lucas says, why does she want to be president? Brooke says, she is who she is, no excuses.
Oh,
but,
also, if Brooke did a makeover, she has no money.
Right, yeah, I don't know if she's going to use what she has or
she has no
buy
money.
Cheaper stuff.
Remember,
yeah,
she had to get a job to pay for her insurance for 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, so she just says she wants, people to know that she's like, there's a lot more to her than some party girl. And then Lucas shows her a speech by John F. Kennedy, and thinks it would work for her. And Brooke recognizes the speech about courage, and nobody's going to believe it's coming from her. And Lucas says he would. And then that's when Felix walks in with the campaign buttons he made for her, which was nice.
So I know, I was like, oh, Felix, like, this is when I felt bad for him, like when I truly felt bad for him, because you can see it on his face, the hurt, because she didn't go to him. And, they're spending a little too much time together. Yeah. And, he did something nice. He paid for all these buttons. And she's like, oh, these are great. And then she goes, oh, because he's like, oh, you wanted me to pick you up. She's, oh, is it that time already? And it's like,
right. Yeah.
That just sounds suspicious. That's what you kind of say when you're, in the middle of cheating. Yeah. I know they weren't, but I'm just saying that it's not really something that your boyfriend or girlfriend wants to hear.
Right.
That you lost track of time with somebody else.
Yeah. And before Lucas leaves, he just tells Brooke that everything she needs is already in her heart to say. And then at the apartment, Haley tells Taylor that her and Nathan are headed to Trick. And is she going to still be there when they get back? She says no, her ride's coming. And Haley asks where she's going to go. Taylor says, she met some guys.
This is what I thought was weird, was that Haley is concerned where she's going now.
Right.
I would be like, yo, you remember when you kicked me out? You didn't care if I had a place to stay or not. Right. So I don't think it's none of your business.
Yeah, Taylor says she met a guy starting a surf shop down at the Keys.
Oh, by the way, this would have been a perfect thing also for, Haley's parents. like, it's one thing if you don't want to say, like, your marriage is crumbling, but wouldn't you be like, Taylor needs somewhere to stay?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like that would have been what kids do.
Right. Yeah, so she tells Haley that she doesn't think too far ahead, like what she'll do after that. Haley says maybe she should, and Taylor says like having a plan has worked so well for her. And then
Which is
Haley,
true.
yeah, and then Haley surprisingly too gave Taylor some money. And Taylor says thanks, but this won't make her feel any less guilty about Chris.
Won't Haley need that money?
Right, yeah.
Like tonight?
Mm-hmm. And then at Trick, Payne is mad because she can't find the good CDs to play. Jake tells her the DJ has it under control.
So why does she have CDs then?
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was like, nervous about Michelle Branch and Jessica being there. So she just like wanted everything to be perfect and was like double checking everything while she still had time. But then it was kind of funny because Haley just pops up next to Jake out of nowhere almost and welcomes him back. And Payne asks where Nathan is. Haley says Kieran needs some help with some boxes. So Jake says he'll help them out too.
I did like that Jake wanted to go say hi to Kieran because, I mean, he just sort of up and left her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Haley tells Payne she's, a huge Michelle Branch fan, so she's wondering if she can meet her. And Payne says yes, so she takes her, to the dressing room to go meet her.
Oh my God, this was good.
Yeah.
Because, she was introducing her and everything. And then, of course, they know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Because of a certain person that is their opening act.
Yep.
Which happens to be none other than Chris Keller.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there. Of course he's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was funny when he walked in and said that he said Haley was just okay.
Yeah, they're like, he said you're great or whatever. And he goes, no, said she was okay. I'm like, of course, that's Chris.
Yeah. And then apparently Peyton didn't know that Chris was their opening for tonight, which I thought was weird.
How did they think that she, okay. Obviously, Chris said we need to play here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did Peyton not know that?
Yeah, so I'm saying, how did she know that?
Like, she's going to get them to play a trick?
Yeah.
I mean, you're only going to get them if you're going to get somebody that knows you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just weird to me, is obviously it's Chris, but it's just weird that she doesn't know that. I mean,
right.
really?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
You're not going to get the records without somebody.
Yeah. So Chris says that he won't be there opening for long. He's headlining soon. And that's, yeah.
No, I'm really laughing because it's like, the future. Like, he thinks tomorrow he's going to be like this big shot. And that's why I'm just laughing.
Yeah. And then Jessica and Michelle says to Haley that Chris mentioned he played their duet and they think it's great. They suggest she sings it with him on stage tonight. And Haley says she doesn't think
they actually finished the duet?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Maybe not like a final copy of it, but just like a what's it called? A demo version of it. And then Haley and Michelle and Jessica leave, making Payne ask Chris what the hell is he doing. Chris answers, giving her the biggest break of her life. You're welcome, he says. And Payne says, he didn't do her any favors. She busted her ass to get the workers here. And Chris says, yeah, but he sealed the deal, which she's kind of right about that. And then Payne asks,
because they probably said, trick what?
Yeah, like a place I never heard of in a small town, yeah.
And it just opened?
Yeah. And then Payne asks, why, so he could see Haley. She knows that he kissed her, and Chris calls her curly. And
I love that. Yeah, he said takes two, and like she didn't exactly push him away, and I was like,
right,
this is my point. Like, and I was happy that Chris said it because I'm like, somebody needs to hear it because they're only hearing Haley's version, and Haley's version is not the truth. Like Chris actually is telling more of a truth.
Yeah. That's why sometimes it's important to hear two sides of a story. Yeah.
Yep. Because I'm like, Chris is actually telling the real story, and, Peyton needed to hear it.
But Payne still tells him that he's wasting his time because she's over him.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
Did you see the look on her face when he walked in and stuff? It's like, she is not over him, and this is not about music.
And they're talking to each other in the mirror from the vanity, and he responds with it, and she has nothing to worry about.
So, okay. So my thing is too, like, it's one thing to hear Haley say it's not about music when Chris isn't around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I guess I can believe it. But then it's like when he's around, you see like the giddiness in her, and it's not about music. It's a true crush. And just like when we saw Nathan crushing on Taylor, it's that giddiness and stuff. And we see it when she's with Chris. And so it's like, don't tell me it's not a crush and it's not just about music, because when you're with him, we can see it. That's what I mean, is maybe bringing Chris back wasn't exactly good storytelling for Haley, because we see that she does like him. So when she says this whole time it's about music, we could have believed it until we saw him back.
Yeah. And then the next scene, Payne is on stage thanking the crowd for showing up tonight.
Oh my God,
check
this
out
was
the Wreckers.
How did you like when she was, introducing the Wreckers? But then she goes, and Chris Keller.
Yeah. And that was funny too, how some of the audience clapped while others was booing him while he gets on stage. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny because he comes out and he goes, "You guys still aren't ready for this, but I'm in a forgiving mood." I'm like,
right.
What?
Yeah, so Haley and Nathan are in the audience. So Haley, of course, didn't tell him that Chris is there.
Okay, you had plenty of time to come out and find Nathan and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like, instead of just sitting there waiting for the show to start, and then it's Chris. Like,
right.
Wouldn't it have been better to like go and try to find Nathan and try to tell him and explain it to him, but instead of it being this way? I'm like,
right.
This is my problem. Is she is thinking that she's innocent. She's thinking that she did nothing wrong, and she's on her high horse again.
Right. Yeah, she just tells him that she had no idea he was coming, even though she already knew.
She just saw him.
Yeah.
I can't with her.
Yeah, and then right before Chris scenes, he dedicates a song to Haley.
Yeah.
So it's just getting worse and worse.
And this is why I feel for Nathan more and more.
Yeah, so while Chris is singing, Lucas goes to Mouth and asks if he told Brooke about the windshield. Mouth says he's working up to it. And Brooke is still hanging out buttons to everyone in the audience. Chris keeps singing.
Maybe the reason why I feel like he already told her is because I feel like the windshield thing was so long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much was, yeah.
Where it was kind of like, wasn't it? I felt like it was wrapped up in that episode that it didn't really need to be explained again.
Right, yeah. And then Haley tells Nathan they should probably just go. And Nathan says no because he's going to beat up Chris. And Justin Taylor pops up. Haley says, she thought she wasn't coming. And Taylor says her ride's running late.
Oh, yeah. But then she said, "Who's this?" Yeah. I was like, and then Nathan, it's Chris.
Oh yeah. And then Taylor laughs and says that evening just got interesting.
Yeah. And now she's planning on staying to see what's going to happen next.
Yep. Nathan walks off. And then later, Chris is finally finishing his set and tells the audience that they were acceptable. And then he looks over at Haley.
But she's making eye contact with him too.
Yeah. So then he goes backstage to find Nathan waiting for him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then Chris asks him if he's looking for an autograph,
That was funny though, because he's like, "You looking for an autograph?" And then he was like, "No, I'm actually here to kick your ass."
But then he realized why bother, because there's nothing there for him. Haley sees him for what he really is, a pathetic loser. And Chris tells him he's wrong.
Yeah, you're just trying to silence the voice in your head, telling you that, you're drifting apart.
Yeah,
and that you're losing her. Yeah. And then it's like, and see, Chris knows that there's problems, and Chris knows that, and there's a problem is Chris knows the truth. So he can go right at Nathan because he knows the truth. Because Haley hasn't exactly said the truth.
And that was funny because Nathan said that it's the voice inside his head is just saying, "Shut this guy up, once and for all." And Chris says, maybe he's wrong. Maybe she does love him. And Nathan says she does. And then
he
Chris
said, "What if it's, not enough?" Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that scene
about that. And then back on stage, Payne introduces Michelle Brands and Jessica Harp. And they get on stage and Jessica gets a note to say, to vote for Brooke. And then they sing The Good Kind. Haley is singing along, into it, and Nathan can see this. And then Lucas and Brooke make eye contact while she's standing next to Felix.
But, I mean, okay, so when Haley's singing along,
Mm-hmm.
what's up with Nathan's face, though? Like, it's not Chris Keller singing.
Yeah, I think he can maybe sense that she just really does want to be on tour, maybe. And maybe this is, because now she can actually see other women, like her, living this dream that she wants to do. So maybe she's just like, I think he's just afraid of, he is afraid of losing her, but like to the music now at this point, not Chris, but yeah.
Because I was just kind of like, it's one thing if she was truly singing to Chris Keller,
Mm-hmm.
but she was singing with the Wreckers. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's not Chris.
Yeah, I think he just thinks that she won't be happy staying in Tree Hill with him all the time. Like she'll want to be on the road doing music and all that. So, and he won't really want to join her for the majority of the time, at least.
But I don't believe that because of their conversation right after.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. It just the look that he gave just looks like that. Yeah.
The look on his face was like, I felt like it was about like Chris, but I'm like, he wasn't singing. I don't know. It just doesn't add up, especially to what happens after.
Mm-hmm. And then Keith walks up to Karen, who confesses she's jealous of Jules. And
okay,
then,
this is the scene that I felt for Andy.
Because he was watching, yeah.
Yes, and then they hug.
Yep.
Okay, why'd they have to hug?
Right.
You're
yeah.
both with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Andy is right there. Too close for comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just feel like Karen was also late to realize, how much Keith's been there for her over the years. And, now that she sees that he's engaged with someone else, she thinks that, she won't have that security that he brought her.
But I
before.
didn't like that he said, like, it'll never change.
Right, because it will.
It's got to change.
Yeah.
You're not going to be there for Karen every time she calls.
Mm-hmm.
You might be there for Lucas because he's your nephew, but you're not going to be there for Karen.
Right.
Let's just call it what it is. She calls and needs something. You're not going to do it.
Right.
She's with somebody else and you're with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Things change. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, and things have changed in this season already.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was like, okay, right.
Yeah. So then Haley goes backstage to see Chris and tells him he played a great set.
Why is she? Okay, Nathan is around.
Mm-hmm.
He may have walked off. He may have walked off, but it doesn't mean he like truly left.
Yeah.
So why would you go backstage to see Chris?
Mm-hmm.
And Nathan was in Chris's dressing room, so how do you know he's not there?
Right.
Like, what if she would have walked in and Chris and Nathan would have been standing there, and then it would have been like, so why are you in here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for you to go and see Chris again, like in front of everyone, to her friends, other strangers. Like, I'm like, this is a public place. You don't go and see Chris there.
Yeah.
It bothered me because, again, it's not about the music. It's about Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And she's showing it again.
Yeah. And then he asks, she wants to know what it's like being on tour because it's happening for him, but it could still happen for her. And she says it will someday. And he says, well, someday is here because he talked to Michelle and she wants her on the tour.
She wants her on tour.
Yeah, because people love the duet, apparently.
Okay. I don't believe it because it's not like it's out there for the world to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird.
Yeah. And then he says how Jessica started off as Michelle's backup singer and look at her now. The difference between wannabes and successes is grabbing the opportunity. And the tour bus leaves in a couple of hours and she knows she should be on it. And he asks if if she's brave enough. And then Nathan and Haley get home and Nathan says now that Taylor's leaving, maybe they'll have enough hot water for their showers. But then Haley hugs Nathan. He asks her what's wrong. She tells him about Michelle Brands, liking her voice.
So, okay, but what did you like though? But why did you like though when she said that Chris wants her on tour? And, of course she's like, oh, she's good with her classes and stuff. But, I did like when Nathan said, is it about Chris and everything? And but here's the thing though, is like she says it's about music and it's her opportunity to like show if she's worth it, if she can do this. But it's like, leading up to it, it's not.
Right.
And, then of course he asks, did you kiss him? Then she says, yes.
Yeah, after a couple seconds, yeah.
Yeah. And then of course he's like, then he gives her the ultimatum though.
Yeah.
And, if she goes, they're done.
And
I'm like, I don't really know if in marriages you really should give ultimatums like that.
Right.
Especially given that some could say that Nathan is the one that pushed Haley to do this music thing in the first place. And so let her see if she falls.
Yeah.
But also, there's Chris and the fact that they did kiss. So it's like a toss-up.
Yeah. And then with
but I did like when he said, you never asked me to come with you.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like, that would have been the difference. That would have been like the seal the deal. It's not about Chris, because you would have no problems with the both of them being around then.
Right. Yeah.
And you would want Nathan to come see everything, be a part of your life. Instead of just, I'll come see you in a few months.
Yeah. And then with the hesitation of telling him that she did kiss Chris, it seemed like she was probably debating if she should just lie again. So.
Yeah, let me lie. I'll go on tour. We'll see how this lasts.
Yeah.
I mean, I was glad she told him, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Especially because you're now saying you want to go on tour. Right after you said you kissed him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, as the other person, if you hear that, all you heard was they kissed.
Right.
Anything else that is being said is overlooked.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Nathan's coming from with his ultimatum, is he didn't hear anything else after the kiss.
Yeah. And then at Karen, she finds Lucas packing in his room and tells him to unpack. Lucas says he can't. And he continues packing. And then she grabs his arm to stop him from leaving. And she says,
it's like, what is he up to? And Dan?
They can find him together. And Lucas says, no, they can't, and walks out. So I did feel bad for Karen because she was told a lie that Lucas was okay, but now she's still losing him anyways to Dan. So.
And the thing is, like, Lucas isn't telling the truth. He's not telling what Dan's got up his sleeve. And it's hard because, like, Karen, her whole life is Lucas. And the one person she has tried to stay away from is Dan.
Yeah. And then Payne is sleeping in her bed. Jake puts Jenny in her crib because apparently they're living with her now, not his parents. And then
that's what I mean, is that's stable.
Yeah.
At least if you were living with your own parents, where Jenny probably has her own room and stuff, it would make more sense.
Yeah.
But you're living with Peyton, who, that's not even her own house. It's her dad's house.
Yeah.
It's just not good. And you keep moving this baby around. How is that good for her?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, I don't think the courts would be like, good job, good father.
Right.
You might be good to her, but you're not putting her in a stable, protective place.
Environment.
Yeah. They're going to go, you keep moving.
Yeah.
And what was it, a couple months? He went from his parents' house to Savannah to Peyton's.
Yep.
How is that stable?
Right.
And Nikki is going to say that.
And
the bad part is, too, for Jake, is Nikki was told her child was somewhere else. And that's a lie. So that's also going to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
Because they all thought it was funny. Peyton and Brooke thought it was just the funniest thing. But when you talk about legal stuff and you just told the mother her child this summer and that child isn't there, not going to look good for Jake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then he's getting ready to join Payne in her bed, but then, Jenny wakes up. So he tells Payne to go back to sleep. He's got her.
I mean, I didn't really like the look on Peyton's face because it's like Jenny comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Peyton. Remember, Peyton, you wanted the man with the child, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come second.
Mm-hmm. And then Brooke is at her house rehearsing her speech when Moth walks in. He confesses he was the one that threw the brick through her car window. He explains
We can't be
that
friends anymore.
Yeah, he was drunk and angry. And, Brooke asks what he was angry about. And he, says about being the little brother to her and everybody else. Yeah, so they both agree that they shouldn't be friends anymore. And he walks out. And then she has a long kind of narration toward the end of the episode with her speech.
I like this, and it showed like everybody
again.
Yeah.
And we see Nathan walking out in town, and then Haley is on the bed when Taylor walks in to comfort her, and she says she knows what it's like to search for something more. That's why she's always running.
But then she never had a Nathan to come home to.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's the thing is like at the end of the day, what matters?
Mm-hmm.
Well, clearly it's not Nathan, right?
Right.
For Haley.
Yeah. And then Nathan is still walking when he gets to the table on the pier where him and Haley had their first tutor session.
So then we see we see the flashbacks and everything. And, of course, he's remembering everything. And then he runs back.
Mm-hmm.
My heart.
Yeah. And then Karen goes to Andy. She lets.
Did you like that he came to like realization that fast?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And that he was running home to go see her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I liked how Karen did go to see Andy this time and not
Keith,
yeah, about Lucas leaving. Yeah.
Me too, because I'm like, this is the person you're dating him. This is the person you're supposed to turn to. Just like Brooke turning to Lucas, that's not the person you're dating, right?
Right, yeah. So then Nathan gets back home to find Haley gone. Taylor walks out of their bedroom.
And
so
says
she says
she's gone.
Sorry. Yeah. And then Nathan finds
the bracelet. The
bracelet.
I was like, poor Nathan, because he picks up the bracelet. I'm like, you're a little too late there, bud.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think you could just call her?
Right, yeah.
They had cell phones. It's not the 50s.
Mm-hmm. And then I feel like he wasn't even gone that long. I don't know. It's hard to say how long he was gone for. I feel like maybe he
also Haley never actually went on the tour bus at that moment. So Taylor could have said go. Like if that's your sister, wouldn't you be like, and he came back running back for her, wouldn't you be like, she's at the bus stop, go.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why didn't Taylor say that?
I don't know, maybe because Haley told her not to. I don't know. But it seemed like
but she didn't. Haley doesn't know that Nathan came back for her to say, I didn't mean it.
Well, I'm just saying maybe Haley told Taylor to tell Nathan that she was going to go. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, she doesn't know that he's coming back for her. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She only knows the ultimatum part. She doesn't know that he's changing his mind all of a sudden.
Yeah. And then it was sweet because we see Jake and Payne out in bed together with Jenny in the middle.
He almost crushed her.
Yeah.
On how cute that was.
Yeah, I mean, you can really see her. And then Michelle and Jessica get on the bus, and then Haley walks up to the side of the bus where Chris is putting the things away. She gives him her bags. He smiles, but she doesn't, and walks into, steps onto the bus. And then Lucas is getting settled into Nathan's old room when Dan walks in. He asks Lucas if he has everything.
So Chris and Haley are on the same bus as the Wreckers?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. It'd be kind of cramped, yeah.
I kind of question that. I question that because I don't feel like the performers would have the same bus as the opening acts.
Yeah, usually they don't, but maybe it's just because Chris and Haley are so new they don't have their own bus, so.
But
otherwise they would have
I feel like they'd have to just find their own little ride then, because I just wouldn't think that. I just feel like it's unheard of.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can't see Michelle or Jessica though, telling them to find their own way to the tour, because then if they lose their opening acts, then they're kind of screwed too. So
Yeah, they'll find other ones.
And then
other ones that have buses.
Yeah. And then at Dan's, Lucas thanks him for paying for his medication. So then it's revealed that he does have HCM and he doesn't want his mom to know. He just needs Dan to keep paying the bill.
Isn't it weird too that Chris and Haley are the opening acts and neither one of them have a record label? Like,
Right.
or neither one of them have a record out.
Right, yeah.
Because when you go to concerts,
Mm-hmm.
the opening acts always at least have one record out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very weird that you got two new, and that's the thing is maybe one is new, but the other one should have a record label.
Right.
Or, contract. So I'm just like, it's very weird that two newbies who don't have anything out by themselves are the opening act.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that weird to you?
Mm-hmm.
I find that weird. But okay.
Right. And then, Dan says that it will be their little secret from Karen, him and Lucas. And then,
and this is where he asks, this is where Lucas thanks him for, this is where we find out that he has HCM because Lucas tells Dan, thanks for paying for my medication, which is where we find out why he's staying with, not just because of Keith, but because of the secret that these two have now, which is the test. And that this is where Dan asks, oh, well, how did you get your mom to believe that? And he goes, oh, I forged Keith's. I took Keith's, and I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
but
Dan
if you're
says,
Dan, why would you want to put that on yourself?
Yeah, I don't know, but
like he could drop dead tomorrow.
Right. But he tells Lucas that he never thought he could be so deceptive, and Lucas says he guesses he is his son after all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Brooke quotes,
this is where the episode should have been called like Father Like Son.
Yeah. And then Brooke quotes John F. Kennedy, and then we see Nathan looking at the photo board from their wedding reception.
Oh my god, I can't with the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I have issues with the scene.
Why?
Okay, because he gets mad and upset and throws the keyboard at the wall. And I have an issue with this because I hate when people jump when they're so mad. They jump right to tearing up pictures, burning things. And it's like, okay, what happens when you're done being mad? You get back together. Then what are you going to do? It happens with friendships. People tear stuff up all the time. And like I went through friendships, fights where it's like, it's the end, but is it really the end? Like I know a fight that I had with a friend and I think she got rid of everything, but I didn't. I still have it all. Like I sent her pictures of cards she gave me and stuff because I kept it because in case there's always a chance that it could work out. And then what do you, just like Brooke, when she got mad about Lucas and Peyton, she ripped up pictures of Peyton. That's your best friend. Like, and now look, you don't have those pictures. And same thing with Nathan.
Yeah, it's just I think it's a normal response to being hurt like that. Sometimes you just have to let that anger out because it's not like you trashed the whole apartment, like Sophia and Hillary said, point out. I didn't expect him to throw the organ though. That was the thing. And then he somehow made the board break in half as well when he hit it with it. But yeah, sometimes you just have that immediate response. Like I know some girls like burn up letters that they have and stuff like that. That can be.
What's I'm saying is burning and tearing up stuff. Like again, I always think of what happens when you're done being upset and you want those memories back of that person.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just need to get rid of the physical evidence of the friendship to let go of it emotionally.
You've done that?
Yeah, I don't have regrets. I threw stuff away. I don't have regrets. So
really? Wait, you threw stuff away? Like what?
Yeah.
Nothing of mine, right?
No.
I just want to make that clear.
No.
And you don't regret doing it?
Mm-mm. No, because those people are no longer in my life. So,
Okay, but what if the person comes back?
nope, not gonna let him.
Okay, what if you're Nathan and the person comes back?
Well, if they come back, like I think after the tour or whatever, how much that is, that's a different thing. But and then a marriage is a whole different thing. But
okay, so obviously the pictures are still there for the moment. You know, we know they're not going to be. But it's like the pictures are still there. Okay, well, okay, you broke the wedding wall, and I mean, yeah, you can ask Peyton to remake it, but it won't be the same.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, it's like if you burn just because you're upset, you burn, which by the way, you gave the ultimatum, Nathan, but it's like you burn our past.
Yeah, Nathan just sees it's over anyways because she left the bracelet too. So
okay, he gave the ultimatum. He said we're done.
Yeah.
But my point is if you get back together, and I'm saying for me, like how, like, okay, we get in another fight, you're gonna burn more stuff of us, and also those are my memories too, and you just got rid of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm not the person that just has that instinct to just burn everything and throw everything and rip everything up, that I would be so hurt and so upset that I'd be like, really? Like, I want those memories. Because if I ever have dementia, if I start to forget things, I just want those things. Or if somebody dies tomorrow, I don't have those memories. I don't have those pictures. So for me, I just take it personal if somebody does that. Especially if you're taking pictures that were ours. Like, it's fine if it's all yours and you've got, you got your own pictures and you want to tear them up and you want to burn them. That's fine. But don't be doing it to like my pictures.
Yeah, nobody does that. Just their own stuff. Yeah.
But these pictures on the wall are
the marriage,
both
wedding
of
wall is
theirs.
different. Yeah, yeah.
This is what I'm saying is it's both of theirs. It's both of their wedding wall. This is what I'm saying is it's one thing if it's all yours, fine, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. But don't ruin our stuff because you're upset.
Yeah, Nathan just, like I said, he thinks it's completely over, so he doesn't see the point of keeping it up intact. So
I'm just saying, like, I would take it personal, and I'd have more to judge on that. Like if it was me, and you're ripping up my stuff.
Yeah, because like
I feel our stuff together.
Yeah, because I feel like if Haley's parents still lived in town, then he could just like gather that stuff and then drop it off there. But he can't because they're all on the road as well. So everybody's on the road. He doesn't know where Taylor is. So he has nowhere to, get rid of it. So
Lucas. I mean,
yeah,
Karen.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say Lucas. Everybody's not usually where they are, so he doesn't really have any place to drop it. But
because here's the thing: if you don't want that stuff,
because
box it up.
Lucas have it. Yeah.
Box it up, give it to Lucas, give it to Karen. The two people are the closest to her. They can ship it off to wherever her parents are. And that's that. You don't need it because you don't want it. But maybe she does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you don't want those memories doesn't mean the other person doesn't.
Yeah, well, maybe
that's why there's that whole thing of when you break up, you pack their stuff up and give it back to them.
Maybe Nathan thinks too that if she would have wanted the pictures, she would have took them with her. I don't know.
Well, she had to leave tonight, remember? But also too, like, also, I mean, remember when Pacey was hurt that Andy gave all the stuff back, and then there was that picture of the two of them? Well, what if, because that was his picture and stuff, like, or theirs, what if she had burned it and stuff? Or ripped it up and then gave it to him? Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been very hurtful.
Yeah. Well, usually the person who was hurt is the one that usually damages physical things, but yeah, so she wouldn't have done that.
Andy's the one that did it.
No,
it was her that he broke up.
Yeah, and I'm like the initial hurt. Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't believe in the whole ruining everything. Because again, I don't do that.
Yeah, sometimes it just makes you feel better. So.
Well, and for me, like even if people are out of my life, even from like childhood, I still have things, and like it's memories, especially because like for me, some people have passed. And I like when I go through and like clean stuff out, I'm like, oh, like this is something so sweet. It's such a good memory of the happy times in my life when I was a kid. And so I don't want to throw that out because the person is gone and it's a memory.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It just really depends on the person, the relationship, and everything. So.
Well, I'm just saying, for me, I wouldn't like it if Nathan was doing that.
Yeah, because like I still have stuff from friends that we didn't really have a falling out, but I still have their like we just drifted apart, so I still have that stuff. But yeah. So then, highs and lows.
For me, the low was just Haley just thinking she's better than everybody and on her little high horse. And then I didn't like, Nathan breaking the wall. But yeah, and again, just all her lying. I just didn't like any of that. Also the blackmailing Dan is doing.
Right.
And Karen has no clue. I mean, first of all, her son leaves her to go live with Dan, like of all people. He's not going to live with Keith. He's going to live with Dan. And then, remember how hurt she was when he left with Keith? And that was the good person.
Yeah.
Now he's going to live with Dan. And so it's like she doesn't realize why. And then to come to find out, it's like her son has the condition. And he could drop dead tomorrow and she doesn't even know it.
Right.
She thinks he's all fine. It's like, that has to be a lot when she figures all of that out, right? So yeah, I didn't like any of that, but the high would be I think Taylor. Okay, so because Taylor and Haley went after Taylor, remember, in the apartment, and that would have been like a good time for Taylor to be like, I'm out of here, peace. Peace, little sister. But instead, after the whole Nathan's ultimatum, Taylor was still there for Haley.
Right.
And I was like, that is so nice because Haley has been such a bitch to her that it was so nice to see that Taylor's like, you know what? You're still my sister. I'm here for you. And she was.
Yeah.
So I did like that part. I liked the Wreckers performing. I liked the trick environment. And I liked Brooke standing up for herself in the election and not letting Erica win.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah, my high was with Brooke, working hard for this campaign, even if she's not getting everybody's support. And then the low was everything with Haley, like, still lying to herself and everybody. That's not about Chris. It's just the music. And then she, ends up leaving Nathan. And rating?
Okay. So even though I don't like the whole like Nathan, or I don't like the whole Haley and Nathan and her leave and everything, don't like any of that, but it did have good drama from beginning to end. And that's what I like to judge. So I'm gonna give it a 9 because it was good, even though I don't like what's happening.
Yeah, I say 8.5.
Yeah, because I do like the episode. It's just we know it's not going very well, like where it's leading. And then who's your best and worst?
Best is Brooke, because like I said about her whole campaign, she wants to really make a difference for, everybody at school with being president and, sticking up for herself with Erica, even though Erica was trying to make her feel, out of place and not fit in this, kind of place at school and make her feel dumb and like a party girl and all that and nothing more. And then the worst is Haley, like I said, about everything with Chris and leaving and everything. And yours?
So for me, 1000%, Haley is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this episode, nobody, there's not one person that could have outdone her as the worst.
Mm-hmm.
From beginning to end, she was just terrible. Just
Right.
lying to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's all her fault.
Right.
There's that. And then the best, I'm going with Brooke too, because Brooke, she showed that she could be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And even when Erica did all that in public, which I still don't know how she could get any of that stuff. But so I still question that. But Brooke, most people, if that was Brooke, like if they were Brooke and that happened to them,
Mm-hmm.
most people would fold.
Yeah.
And hide under a table.
Mm-hmm.
But Brooke, on the other hand, didn't. She stood her ground. She didn't back down. I love that. And she fought for herself. And I love that about her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she was and honestly, like all of her scenes that she was in, I was just loving it.
Right. Yeah.
She was so good. And I love that she actually did the ending kind of like narration thing, because it's always Lucas, but
yeah,
I'm glad she did it.
Yeah.
And then what's the next episode?
Episode 14, Quiet Things That No One Ever Knows.
Long title.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.